Hi everyone, and welcome back to The Swell. I'm your host, Maya Mahoney, and today we are joined by Weston Adwell, our marketing director here at McGraw. And today's episode is about HubSpot and why having a CRM is important for your business and why you should invest in one for the new year. So Weston, there are a lot of different CRMs out there. So first, can we touch on what exactly a CRM is and why having one is important for your business?
Yeah, absolutely. I like that phrase, new year, new CRM. I think it's really important to consider this for your business. The CRM is a customer relationship management program. So essentially, it's just a database of your customers and your interactions with those customers. So that way you can keep track of who you're speaking to, who your client base is, what their interests are, and how you could potentially serve them better or sell to them to help them convert into your business. I think HubSpot CRM is incredible, and I'm sure we'll get to that. But it is time to kind of invest in your business with quarter one here. And if you haven't got a solid option in place, I would consider HubSpot as being that solution.
Yeah, and obviously being HubSpot Gold Solutions partner, we are a strong advocate of HubSpot. So why is HubSpot maybe better than some of the other CRMs out there like MailChimp or Salesforce? What are some of the key differences?
Sure. So HubSpot is so robust. And I know sometimes it can be a little overwhelming because of how many different facets it has, but I think that just goes to show how great and how wonderful it is for your business. So HubSpot itself has, multiple hubs, including the marketing hub, the sales hub. It has operations hub. It has so many different aspects that a lot of these other CRMs just don't have. If you're looking at one of the direct competitors like Zoho, for example, there's no marketing aspect to that CRM. So you may be able to get that list of contacts. You may be able to have them inside your sales process, but you aren't actively marketing to them. And I think that's really important. So HubSpot, like using the marketing hub in combination with the sales hub, allows you to not only attract and engage them, but also delight your customers by providing constant communication, providing follow-up that is not possible in any other CRM. And I can kind of give you an example of, you can have a monthly newsletter that allows your customers to remain and continuously be engaged by your content. And I think that is really the main difference. The absolute overall encompassing nature of HubSpot can provide the front-end solution and the back-end solution for your customers.
Yeah, I agree. I think HubSpot does a great job of aligning your marketing, your sales, and your service teams and giving a really good comprehensive view of the buyer's journey.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so how does HubSpot help you perform your job on a daily basis?
HubSpot it's like my magic tool in my toolbox. I mean, from everything to creating and executing campaigns to writing constant communication with the clients where you're able to email back and forth, create beautiful content. You can host your website on HubSpot CMS. It's a wonderful, wonderful tool. They actually allow you to migrate your first 20 pages for free, which is amazing. It is so encompassing that I use it on a day-to-day basis. It is constantly open on my computer, but it's so helpful from the sales process to assisting my sales team with making sure the data entry is correct, to creating reports that give visibility and transparency to their activities, to running social media campaigns, posting on social media, which Maya is so good at, and all of these other tools that can really make my job as the marketing director substantially easier and also more effective.
So what does the onboarding process look like for, new clients that want to choose HubSpot as their CRM?
Sure, and I think I can talk about two different ways here. there's like the full scale onboarding, because let's just say you're looking for the CRM, you haven't found it yet, and you're interested in HubSpot. We have a full scale onboarding that allows you to pretty much get HubSpot as a service. Then we would come in and facilitate that onboarding for you, go in and train you on how to use it. We can get all of your reporting set up, your sales pipeline that matches your sales process. We can get those email templates created for you, and even take all of the, let's just say you have a full tech stack. Maybe you're running email campaigns out of MailChimp, or maybe you are utilizing another software that we can get integrated for you. And it's essentially a white glove service to help you focus on other areas of your business. We'll get the infrastructure set up, and then we can come in and train you on how to use it. I think that is like our first approach. And then there's also the second approach, where you may already have HubSpot and you just need to learn how to use it better. So we're here to train you on how to utilize the robust system a little bit better, because we understand that it can be very overwhelming to get the most bang out of your buck for HubSpot.
So you definitely recommend these businesses to hire a HubSpot consulting agency like McGraw?
Absolutely. I never want to knock our partner, but HubSpot, the actual onboarding that they provide can be a little limited, and they always direct you to the HubSpot Academy, which has great information, and I would never not recommend to go there. But I will say that for some clients, the need is a little higher. Maybe their business is more unique. Maybe they just don't have the time to go and sit down and watch a video for an hour and learn how to use the system. And that's kind of where we come in with the white glove, where we say, okay, no problem at all. Let us understand your business. Let us figure out your goals, and then we'll implement that within your system with your help. And all we would need is to understand, okay, what are your goals? What are you trying to get out of the system? Then we go in, we set it up for you, and we teach you how to use it. So I 100% think that HubSpot is the right solution, but also utilizing an agency like us, we can really get you to maximize your usage of the platform.
So there's a lot of other, HubSpot partners out there. So why should businesses look to McGraw to maximize their CRM?
So I think one of the biggest reasons why people should consider us is our experience with data integrations and migrations is very extensive. We have full stack development teams that can provide any sort of integration and migration that you need to have within your HubSpot system. So for example, you're using Salesforce and you're frustrated with it, which we've seen before. We have multiple clients from different systems have frustrations that they want to overcome. So they've come to us, and we've really done the heavy lifting for you. And we've taken your entire Salesforce, your entire Zoho, and we've moved it over and migrated it effectively onto the HubSpot platform. So not only that, we specialize in the integration and migrations. We have a data component that allows you to expand your customer database, maybe taking your customer database and appending it because you may have some missing information, that we can provide that service. And then on top of that, we are a full-scale digital marketing agency. So if you needed to complement your HubSpot with another service like email marketing, or maybe you need your social media handled, those are different services that we can also add on to help you use your HubSpot.
Yeah, I think those are all really great points. Is there anything else that you'd like to add before we wrap up the episode?
I think just understanding that, as a gold solutions partner, we're preferred from HubSpot. So we're an agency that can help you and has been verified by HubSpot to give you the assistance and the help that you need to get it off the ground. So although it's kind of like looking at an avalanche, we want to help you tackle that and make sure that you are getting the most usage out of your account. So, we would be happy to help.
Well, thank you for joining us today, Weston, and sharing all of your HubSpot insights. And thank you for all of those who tuned in. We're cranking out a bunch of episodes, so be on the lookout for some new Swell episodes very soon. Bye. Thank you.
I got no money and it's all cash. I got no bags and they all collapse. Both sides of the
absolutely. So in terms of McGraw, I'm an account executive at McGraw, and one of my main functions is helping attorneys figure out sort of the puzzle that is a CRM, right, in terms of their tech stack. So one thing I do is I help sort of educate attorneys on basically how to use HubSpot, how to use it to increase their lead flow, how to increase basically the existing clients that they have and nurture them, and all things HubSpot. And as in terms of attorney, I've been practicing for over 20 years. I started as a prosecutor, basically working for the government. Then I became a trial attorney. I had my own firm in Los Angeles for 16 years, and I have literally purchased every different type of digital marketing. I've done every single type of CRM you can imagine, and if it is something in the realm of law firm sort of rev ops, I've done it. So that's a little bit of background on me.
And so as a solo attorney, when was it that you decided that you needed a CRM? I know you said you kind of use a hybrid of both Clio and HubSpot. And so maybe just kind of tell us about some of the key differences between the two and why you use both.
Sure. So I guess the answer to the first part of your question is that I decided I needed to get more of a CRM when I realized that second money is always easier than first money, right? So every lawyer's journey in terms of how they generate clients is going to be different. It's different on where you are in the country. It's different as the type of practice that you have. But one thing that is not different is that, we spend all this money and time generating a lead and then closing a client. But after that, a lot of lawyers are kind of Luddites when it comes to going back and reusing those leads or nurturing those clients. And so what I realized is I'm spending all this time and money on closing down these clients. How can I, extend that amount of effort and money and work less, right? And so what a CRM helps me to do is, in terms of especially HubSpot, is focus on keeping top of mind with my existing clients, going after my existing clients for other needs they may have, and then also obviously generating referrals. And then, that's kind of the big epiphany that I had. Then the second part of your question is with regards to why I use a hybrid between a traditional legal practice management software and HubSpot is that marketing is the same regardless of what vertical you're in. It doesn't matter if you're in legal, it doesn't matter if you're in pharmaceuticals, it doesn't matter. It's marketing is marketing. But for some reason in the legal community, they make their CRMs, and ignore that whole fact. So, what I realized is that although Clio, for example, is a great practice management tool, it does very little in terms of the nurture side of existing clients and marketing. So I'm sort of using a modern 2023 version of marketing with HubSpot, and then still staying old school with the legal practice, if that makes sense, with the management tool.
Yeah, and I know HubSpot has the marketing hub, and you can do a lot of your automations through there, like with your email campaigns and things like that. So do you use a lot of automations and workflows in HubSpot?
Yeah, the biggest thing is for me is the email automation, because what it allows you to do is let's say once a client is complete and you've done the job for them, whatever that job is, you just put them in an automation and then you just don't think about them again. And then, you're automatically having touch points with them, you're sending them valuable content, but you're doing that across the body of clients that you have. So, you can't control what any one client does or lead does, but you can control what a set of them do, and you use that to your advantage. So yeah, absolutely. And the cool thing about HubSpot too is that it can service the need of one person, like a solo lawyer like myself, all the way up to enterprise level to a giant national firm. So you're not going to outgrow or outscale HubSpot.
Yeah, and obviously Clio is known as being a CRM for law firms, but I think we're seeing more and more law firms take on HubSpot. So why would you suggest to other law firms, that HubSpot could be your choice of CRM over Clio?
Well, two things. One is that you would probably, most lawyers will keep it as a hybrid, right? Well, they'll use the Clio in terms of as their legal practice, in terms of their management of what's going on in court or docs or whatever. But switching to HubSpot is because the cost to acquire a customer is only going to increase as time is going on, right? So as our economy goes into a downturn, as advertising becomes more expensive, the cost to acquire a customer or acquire a lead is only going to go up. So the great thing about HubSpot is that HubSpot should pay for itself in terms of the follow-up and in terms of also your ability to generate more leads based on what you've already done. And so, the thing about lawyers is that in terms of advertising, every lawyer has thrown a bunch of money at advertising campaigns that don't work, right? But the great thing about revenue operations is done correctly. When you invest in HubSpot, HubSpot should not only pay for itself, but it should have a big return on your investment just on new clients, even if you just did an email follow-up and the automation there. So that's the one big thing I'd recommend is that it really does decrease your cost to acquire a customer and get new customers.
Yeah, and I think it definitely streamlines, your marketing, your sales and service, where it sounds like you said Clio kind of misses out on the marketing part that HubSpot provides and gives like a good overview of the customer journey.
Yep, absolutely. And also too, even on the service side, like you can set up the service up if you want to allow your clients to have the ability to, if they can't get you on the phone or they are having some sort of challenge, you can set up HubSpot in a way that guarantees they're going to have communication. The biggest problem when lawyers run into bar complaints or issues with their clients is just not being available. And if you have an automated system in place to where your clients can, if they can't get you on the phone, if they can't get through your reception, where they can just even submit like a classic ticket, for example, then you have, one, you have documentation. And then two, you have the ability to not have anything fall through the cracks. So HubSpot really excels in that area as well. And in terms of the marketing, you can have all of your social media, content in one place. You can have all of your campaigns in one place, and it's just as a central, hub, for lack of a better word, right? It's a central hub for everything, and to come, and you can integrate all of your tech stack into it. So it's a very valuable. It decreases a lot of stress because it puts everything in one place.
Can you integrate Clio into HubSpot? I feel like I saw something that said that. So
the cool thing about HubSpot is that HubSpot is really good about making HubSpot robust and growing HubSpot and getting, selling HubSpot to people. Where McGraw comes in is that we're very good at customizing solutions for people. So if HubSpot does not have a native integration, meaning that they haven't just created a couple clicks to integrate, like Clio, for example, which they have, then our dev team can integrate almost anything. So if you're really stuck on, I have this CRM from 1997, I don't want to give up because I love it, we can integrate it with HubSpot. That's no problem. Our dev team can do that. Now, I may try to bring you into the 21st century, but HubSpot is robust enough to where anything can integrate with it, either natively or we can make it work.
Yeah, I think I saw something that said HubSpot has over 2,000 integrations, so it definitely is a very robust CRM for sure.
And that's only going to grow.
Yeah,
right?
it's only going to grow.
HubSpot is just, it's exploding because its interface is really intuitive, and lawyers. That's the thing about lawyers is that, again, we're Luddites, and so we're way behind the times with regard. Most lawyers are way behind the times with their ability with technology. But HubSpot, its interface is so intuitive and easy that it makes it, even for someone like me, really easy to do. And so HubSpot's just working on making that better.
Yeah, and obviously here at McGraw, we're a HubSpot Gold Solutions partner. So what would your, why do you think the law firms should invest in a HubSpot consulting agency like McGraw?
Well, we can customize it to exactly what you need. So I have clients who are one person all the way up to enterprise level clients that we basically, they offload all their HubSpot to us on a retainer basis monthly. And so we can do that entire range. We can handle it, whatever people need and whatever your company or business needs. And so for us, we can also make it, we can give you best practices, whereas in terms of legal specifically, whereas HubSpot itself they have to service all people who use HubSpot. So some of their knowledge base is kind of general, Whereas for us on a consulting basis, we can do whatever you want with HubSpot and not only make it to fit your need, but also suggest things that you may be missing because, we've been in business for over 13 years. And so, we've seen every vertical. We know kind of best practices, what works and what doesn't.
Yeah, I would agree. Is there anything else that you want to touch on that we didn't talk about?
Only that you're going to want it, if you do the work on the front end with HubSpot, if you really invest the time and the money on the front end and lay it all out exactly how you want, then it really kind of goes on autopilot after that. You don't have to constantly be, tweaking with it. And especially in the legal space, because, our customer journey is effectively the same for everyone. The court systems are very slow to change. And so once you get something set up, you're probably good for 5-10 years with the same workflows, honestly. For me personally, once I sort of got my pipeline in place, once I had my customer journey in place, once I sort of had the systems in place to handle all of my clients, it didn't change markedly for 15-20 years. So if you do the work up front with HubSpot, really invest the time and the money up front, your practice is going to be set for at least a decade. And then you may need a tweak here or a tweak there, but HubSpot will more than pay for itself.
Yeah, that's good to hear, because I think a lot of people get really overwhelmed with, any CRM but HubSpot. But it is a very easy CRM to use. And like you said, if you put in, the work, and it might be a lot of, money up front, but definitely worth it and something that you can use for years to come.
And HubSpot's not going anywhere. It's a company in the billions of dollars with a B, right? So it's not going to suddenly stop expanding or sunset itself. And that's a huge advantage when you're trying to make a decision, because you just want to do this process once, right? Is you want to make sure that you're going to get a CRM, you're going to get everything dialed in, all of your automations dialed in. You just want to do it once, because you then want to return to your zone of genius. You want to be, you're signing clients, you're servicing your clients, and on the tech side, the best systems are the systems that you don't see or that you have to worry about. Because otherwise, if there's a problem, friction, you don't want friction in your tech stack, because that's when things break. And friction slows down money. Money is attracted to speed. And so we want everything to be as frictionless as possible. And HubSpot really does that.
Well, thank you, Wade. I think that was about all the questions that I had today, but I think you gave us some really good insight into how HubSpot can help your law firm.
Absolutely. And if anyone wants to, my time is free, basically, unlike most lawyers. So you can email me at wade@mcgrawnow.com and get on my calendar, and happy to chat with anyone and answer any questions. And I get the hesitation sometimes lawyers have with the tech stack, but the best thing I ever did was invest in my revenue operations, and it really reduced a lot of stress for me and let me focus on what I was good at.
Well, nice to meet you officially, and thanks for being the first guest over Zoom.
Absolutely. Happy to do it.
All right. Have a good day, Wade.
You too. Talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Is your business not showing up on top search results online? Are you seeing low organic traffic on your website or lead conversion issues resulting in a dip in sales? This may mean that your SEO strategy is failing. SEO services, or search engine optimization services, are intended to increase visibility and ultimately organic search traffic to websites. People almost always use the internet to fulfill their need for information, so it's more important than ever to be found online. This means that more people will see an increase in your online traffic, and the better your chances become to provide your product or service to a greater number of people. We are experts in the industry and will offer your business a personalized plan to improve your search rankings and scale your business. Here at McGraw, we utilize many techniques to achieve this goal, so you have a greater chance to convert more of those site visitors into paying customers. This provides you a leg over your competitors and will build your brand awareness to benefit you for many years to come. Search engines like Google and Bing are constantly rolling out new updates, which can leave many businesses lagging behind. To ensure you stay ahead of the curve, we will measure the results of your SEO campaign so that you can see how effective they are at every step of the way. So, what's stopping you from increasing your search engine rankings and customer conversions? Let our experienced team at McGraw turn your business goals into reality with our SEO services. Contact us at 1-888-302-6729 or visit our website www.mcgrawnow.com.
Everyone, and welcome back to The Swell. I'm your host, Maya Mahoney, and today I'm joined by our CTO, James Higbee. So James, thank you for joining us today, and we're really happy to have you back in the St. Augustine offices.
Oh, it's great to be here. Feels like I'm back home.
Awesome. Well, before we jump into today's episode, James, with this being your first time on the podcast, if you can just tell us a little bit about yourself and your role at McGraw.
Sure. So I've been working here at McGraw for 4 years, come next week, actually. I handle all of the data management. So anytime we pull leads in, anytime that we're running data analytics or software integrations, basically anything that has to do with technology, I'm a little bit involved with it.
Awesome. Okay, so today's podcast is James' podcast topic of choice, but how data can improve marketing campaigns. So for those that are new to digital marketing or have never really used data in their marketing campaigns before, can you just give us like a brief overview onto what marketing data analytics are?
Sure. So marketing data analytics is a very broad scope. The analytics can range from anything of like cost per impression, which means how much you pay for each person who sees your ad. Cost per click, which is, how many impressions does it take for you to generate a click and what is that cost associated with it? Cost per lead, which is, each website form fill that gets filled out. You can also go as granular as what the locations are that are performing the best, geo-wise. So whether that's cities, states, countries, you can really fine-tune your data marketing based off of that data. Same thing even goes down to device. You can really, through marketing data analytics, you can track just about anything that goes into creating a lead and then fine-tune it down to what creates the perfect lead for you.
Yeah, and I think personalization in today's marketing landscape is really important. And so I think you were saying you can track data down to a location, making that really personalized and specific for the customer is important.
Oh yeah.
And so what are some examples of ways that data can be effective within a marketing campaign?
So one of my favorite methods of using data in marketing campaign is social media, specifically custom audiences. So you can take a list of your contacts, a list of, say if you're selling houses, you can take a list of buyers that bought houses that are similar to the one you're selling now, upload into Facebook, and then it'll target people that have anywhere from like a 1% to 3%, what is the closest other person to those people. So those are called lookalike audiences, which basically allow you to take, any list that you have and find people who are most closely like what the check-ins are, what the likes are, and find people who are behaving and doing the same things online as the people in your list, which really allows you to find perfect customers that are outside your current customer base.
And so for someone that is doing, a social media campaign, where can they obtain this data, that's relevant to their industry for their campaigns? So
the number one way that I would recommend is using a data source provider. So that would be someone who is skilled and has been around for a while, generating leads for a handful of different verticals. My personal favorite company for getting data from is McGraw. I think they provide hands down the best data out of any shop around. We've been doing this since 2009 in a handful of different verticals to where we've really been able to generate the right amount of leads and right kind of leads. The other way to do it is by creating your own website properties. So, landing pages, running SEO, Google AdWords traffic onto it, and then creating your own data. But there's a lot more cost involved with that. There's a lot of trial and error. So I really do think when you're first starting out, it's best to work with a data provider.
And so is there a sort of data management process or strategy that you think businesses should have when utilizing their data?
So as far as data management, and you want to make sure that you aren't overusing the data. So say, if you're using data in email campaigns, you don't want to hit the same people like 5 times in a day.
Right.
And it comes down to the same thing with social media. If you're showing the same ad to the same people, beyond 1 or 2 times, if they aren't clicking on it the first time, they aren't going to click on it the 4th, 5th, or 6th time. So you're wasting your ad dollars there. So I think it's just really making sure that you're continuously putting fresh data in, recycling the old data, taking it out, letting it rest, and then reusing it, at a later date and time.
So if you're a marketer and you're running a campaign, what are some questions that you would ask yourself when, considering what data to use?
So the number one thing that I would do is work with the client that I'm, running this campaign for. If it's something internal, I'll look at, okay, what are we looking for? Who is the perfect customer? How can we pinpoint what their actions are, what their behaviors are? And then how can we go out and find other sources of data that will most closely represent or resemble our perfect customer wish list?
Yeah, so definitely identifying your buyer persona would be probably one of the main questions you'd want to ask yourself.
100%. So really, really figuring out what that buyer persona is to such a fine point that you can say, I want someone who shops at this place and, they drive this car and they do this. That's how you're going to have the best successes. The more you fine tune your data, the more you fine tune that persona list, that's when things start to really work out.
And you said your favorite data provider is McGraw.
Of course.
So at McGraw, we're obviously a HubSpot Gold Solutions partner. And so how can one manage their data within HubSpot to improve their marketing campaigns?
So, HubSpot allows for a lot of really cool analytics. One of my personal favorites, for instance, is Google AdWords integrations. So with HubSpot, if you have a lead come in off of a Google ad, it'll tell you what keyword they clicked on, what they searched for, that made them wind up there. So the great thing about that is, if you're running these ads, the campaigns get expensive. You can start to see, okay, well, these 5 people just came in and bought, and they all came off this keyword. These last 3 people, that I talked to were absolutely horrible, and they all came off the same keyword. So you remove that keyword that's not working, focus more on the keywords that are. And HubSpot gives you a 30,000-foot overview to really see what's working and what's not, unlike anything else.
So obviously we're a HubSpot Gold Solutions partner, and we have, the B2B, B2C business data here at McGraw. So how can the services at McGraw help improve marketing campaigns using data?
So it sort of all works together. I think that's one thing that McGraw really excels at, is bringing all of these pieces of technology together, showing clients the way to use them in a way that makes their campaigns more effective. So when you have the leads coming in to HubSpot, that you've generated from marketing campaigns, you can set up where you have a workflow that when this lead comes in, we need to send out this email, and then this person needs to get a follow-up reminder task. So it basically automates your entire follow-up process, which I think is where a lot of leads get lost in the cracks.
Yeah, I think automations is a really important part, using your data.
Absolutely.
And so is there anything else that you would like to add that we didn't touch on?
I really think, if you're a business that's out there and you're struggling and you can't figure out why your campaigns aren't working, get on the phone with us. Let us show you, sort of how the data-driven approach works. Because I've seen clients come in that go from, a very low ROI, very low revenue, to once they get into here and they're using our data, they're 5, 6, 7 times in what the revenue was prior before taking a data approach.
Wow. Well, thank you, James, for joining us today. I think that was a really good overview on how data can improve marketing campaigns.
Thanks for having me on. It was a great conversation.
Thanks for joining.
Every business owner knows that advertising is a huge part of scaling your business, whether you're currently engaged in search engine marketing strategies or looking for new solutions. McGraw is here to help. PPC, or pay-per-click advertising, is a model of digital marketing where you, as a business owner, pay a small fee each time one of your ads is clicked on Google, Bing, YouTube, or many other platforms. With over 13 years' experience, we create campaigns that encourage consumers to click on carefully curated advertisements, ultimately convert into leads. We are a creative, data-driven, and results-oriented agency to help you maximize your return on ad spend and stand out from your competitors. PPC allows you to control when you're displaying the perfect ad, to your desired audience on the customer buying journey with pinpoint accuracy. We provide transparency for your business to easily measure your ads campaign's performance, including impressions, clicks, leads, costs, and revenue generated. Best part is, you are in complete control of your ad budget. Having a great PPC strategy can offer your business high-level brand exposure, hot leads, and an increase in e-commerce sales while keeping your cost per click as low as possible. We currently manage over $2 million in yearly PPC spend management, so it's no wonder why companies turn to us to accelerate their growth. PPC advertising is proven to be a reliable and profitable channel, but can change rapidly. What worked 6 months ago may not work anymore, which is why it's paramount to have a qualified PPC expert at your fingertips. Our experts at McGraw are here to help you create and optimize your campaigns. Contact us at 888-302-6729 and www.mcgrawnow.com.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of The Swell. I'm Maya Mahoney, and today I'm joined by my colleague, Felipe Vogel. And on today's episode, we're going to be talking about HubSpot CMS. So how to build your website on HubSpot CMS, comparing it to other content management systems out there, and some features that HubSpot CMS has that can be really beneficial to your website. So, Felipe, do you want to give kind of a brief overview on what HubSpot CMS is for those that are tuning in that have never heard of it before?
Yeah, sure. Well, first of all, welcome everyone. Thanks for watching The Swell. I'm Felipe. I work here in business development and customer success, and I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you for joining.
Well, CMS is a hub from HubSpot. HubSpot functions in a way that it contains, imagine different hubs where they can all come together in the big platform, but they're additionally paid for. So you can get free versions of everything, but once you want to scale up, you got to pay for them, and they become like one big hub, which is HubSpot. But CMS stands for Content Management System, where this allows you to create and manage and optimize a website. And I'll explain later how it works, but that's in a nutshell what it is. And the way it works is by hosting the website. It has some SEO features, it has some keyword features, all kinds of things. And it's as easy to use as Wix and as complex as WordPress, which we'll get into in a sec.
Yeah, so essentially HubSpot CMS, like Felipe said, is a content management system, helps you create and manage your website all in one place while also taking advantage of lead generation and nurturing with access to the HubSpot CRM, which really makes the CMS hub stand out because it's the only CMS with a CRM integrated into it. So how does this different from other content management systems out there like WordPress? I know you've used WordPress before with other clients. So what has that experience been like?
So first thing we see in small, medium, or large clients is that they use WordPress. Most of the providers that take care of the management of websites use WordPress. It's their preferred method because of the coding aspect of it and how customizable it can be. But one of the main drawbacks is that everything you want to do in terms of content management, lead generation, anything else requires an integration, where that's not the case in HubSpot CMS. So imagine you have a business and you are selling, let's say for example, you're selling hats, right? So you have a hat business and you have a WordPress site. So first of all, what do you need in order to sell this? You need a POS system to make the transactions. You need any sort of form submission in order to capture the person's information. You need somewhere to store that information. And a lot of processes on the back end that I'm not going to get into, where HubSpot CMS helps that by integrating with a CRM, where all the tools that I just mentioned that are integrations for sites like WordPress or Wix or any others are in the same place. This allows you to manage your business in a more seamless way. And essentially allow you to optimize your processes, get better results, and possibly get more conversions.
Yeah, and it's so important to have a website that is, really optimized for your business. A website is the first touch point that a lot of customers have with your business. And so I think where HubSpot CMS stands out opposed to these other content management systems like WordPress and Wix that you mentioned is that it's so integrated into the CRM, and HubSpot already does a good job of, giving us that alignment of your marketing, sales, and your service. And so adding your website into that mix, it puts all of your data and information in one place too. So it's an easier process building your website in HubSpot CMS.
So I like to think about it as it makes sense to have it. It's like kind of like all in one place, and it's not like a cheap solution. It's really good, and compared to others, it's going to make your business work way better. So I would 100% recommend that we use it here. Whether you have a full-on website or you just want landing pages, you can use CMS to do that. Track people, add forms, add workflows on the back end, and basically by using logic, do these operations that are very complex, like sending emails, sending texts, all kinds of things. If you're in the space, you're probably aware of Zapier or Zapier, however you want to call it. And Zapier is great, but it's not necessary in HubSpot CMS. While it is in WordPress, some of our clients I've seen, they have Zaps up to 60, 70 steps. And HubSpot CMS and the CRM integration would just kill the whole thing, and it would make the business easier. Some of the issues I see with these integrations is that maybe they're not updated, maybe they are out of space to run the task or the Zaps in this case, and that's where the business starts to come down in terms of technology, and we solve that with CMS.
I think too, HubSpot CMS does a good job of addressing SEO best practices. So one of the tools that I really like in HubSpot CMS is the content strategy tool. And so what it does is it discovers and ranks broad pillar topics right on HubSpot CMS for you to use. And so this just, improves your optimization, and you don't have to use these third-party, SEO plugins. It just really streamlines the whole process for you. I feel like I'm getting a tongue twister from saying CMS and CRM in the same sentence 5 times, but yeah. So the content strategy tool, I think, is a really good tool to optimize SEO.
100%. I mean, SEO is all about how you can leverage wording, articles, blogs, text for you to appear higher in a hierarchy of search engines. So for example, for Google you use meta tags. Meta tags allow you to be discovered by Google upon keywords, upon searches, upon it's a whole pyramid, not a pyramid scheme, but a pyramid of layers and layers of things that make you stand out compared to your competitors. So I know some other tools I like that I've used is the SEO checker, which you have integrated already. You can check how your landing page is doing, how your website is doing, and it'll tell you what to do in order to rank higher, to be a little bit better in terms of competition. Or you can use a keyword research tool where it'll allow you to, maybe you are same business, you're selling hats, right? But maybe hat is not the right word. Maybe you want to use the word baseball caps, or maybe you want to use the word, it can be anything essentially. But these tools allow you to do that without any integrations, and I think that's very valuable for your business, right?
Yeah, I would agree. And another tool I really like is the drag and drop editor. So this just really allows you to customize your website how you want to, really personalize that experience for your customers, and just makes it really easy to build out your website. There's no code that you have to use. It's very simple and straightforward. So the personalization, I think, is a really good key factor for HubSpot CMS.
100%. So let's say you have a business and you don't want to hire someone that codes your website and something crashes and you don't know how to fix it. You got to reach out to them. You can simply use a drag and drop builder. So just like a Shopify store, just like a Wix store or a Wix site, you can drag and drop thousands of modules that are already created for you, while additionally, you can download free templates that have other modules that you can use. Like, for example, let's say you put in a header, then you put in a picture, then you put in a form submission, and you put in your contact information, then you put in it. The opportunities here are endless. It's just a matter of people understanding how they can leverage this and not see it as a burden of, oh, I got to switch my whole thing here. No, they do it for free. They'll switch your first 20 pages of your website for free. And if you want us to take care of the rest, like us McGraw, we'll be happy to. We're experts in the space, and I think you're going to have a really good time and better optimization and results in your business.
Yeah, I think the pre-built themes and templates is a really good feature of HubSpot CMS. And you can always try out a few different themes and templates to see how that does for your website. And you can use A/B testing on HubSpot CMS as well. So that's a really great way to test every aspect of your business and see what aspects are performing well. What landing pages, what call to action buttons. So not only can you seamlessly create your website on HubSpot CMS, but you can also use tools like A/B testing to test out every aspect of your website. And again, it's the only CMS, really want to emphasize this, that is integrated into your CRM. So all your data and information is in one place.
Absolutely. And I've been testing A/B testing with emails, with landing pages, all kinds of things. And the cool thing is that it'll tell you which one's performing better. And then you can actually click a button and it'll make it the actual one. So for example, for a month, you test out 2 landing pages based on ads. Maybe you run Facebook ads or something. And the one that gets better results, whether you are testing, multiple offers or multiple layouts of your landing page or your website, you can do that and it'll tell you why it's better, how you can make it better, and then you can decide upon which one's going to be like the actual one. So that's pretty cool.
And so what would your advice be, Felipe, to businesses that are just starting out utilizing HubSpot CMS? I know you have some experience building out landing pages for, our internal use.
Right. So if you're a business and you're starting with CMS and you've never used a CRM like HubSpot before, I would recommend you to use the resources available, like the HubSpot Academy. These tend to be very resourceful, very helpful, as well as the help button on the right side, on the corner. You should always reach out to them. I personally like to call them because it's going to be like more, I can explain better what my situation is, and they'll help me out instantly. As well, they can access my hub as well. But HubSpot Academy, and then use all the tools that the CRM provides, not only CMS, workflows, emails, ads, all kinds of things, in order to basically create high quality content for your customers, for your leads, for your prospects, and better your business. But if you're still lost and you don't feel like you're getting enough, or you're not getting much out of CMS, reach out to us. We'll be happy to help, and we'll be waiting for your call.
Yeah, if you need help, you can definitely reach out to us here at McGraw. We have experience using WordPress and Wix and other content management systems, and can make that transition over to HubSpot CMS seamless for you.
Yeah, I want to add also that we're HubSpot Gold partners. So we don't work against them, they work with us. So we'll be happy to provide onboarding, provide any type of, set of videos, show you how it's done, do it for you, whatever you need to make your business better, we'll be happy to. We're really good at doing that, and we've proved that with a bunch of clients by optimizing not only their SEO, their CMS, but their email marketing, drip campaigns, and all kinds of things. So we'll be expecting you.
Well, thank you for joining today, Felipe, and this conversation about HubSpot CMS. I'm excited to see, the new tools that HubSpot implements in the future for us to make our websites better.
Thank you for having me.
who I have in my network who can help me be successful with this particular opportunity.
Hi, and welcome to The Swell. I'm your host, Maya Mahoney, and today I'm here with Chip McGraw, founder and CEO of McGraw. And today on this episode, we're going to be talking about how McGraw came to be and Chip's journey as an entrepreneur and more. So Chip, if you'll introduce yourself and kind of give us a timeline of how McGraw came to be.
All right. Well, thank you, Maya. That was a very nice introduction. My name is Chip McGraw, founder and CEO of McGraw, formerly known as the McGroup International. We rebranded and decided to go with just McGraw about 2 years ago. But the company started back in 2009, actually. Initially started in marketing consulting. To take you back to the whole journey, I mean, we have to go back a number of years. I started basically my first company would have been in 2004. And that was a Coldwell Banker real estate franchise called Del Mar Realty in Nosara, Costa Rica. We started out as a real estate brokerage, focusing in resort properties and second home market for Americans, Europeans, Canadians, and others that look to be purchasing property or developing and building property in Costa Rica. And that's really where I started and really cut my teeth on marketing and sales initially. I've always been someone that was fairly entrepreneurial, not probably really thinking about it or realizing it at the time, just really chasing a dream of surfing and trying to figure out how to make my way in the world and utilize my background with my ability to speak Spanish and just having kind of a natural ability of understanding business and sales. Started out probably my first sales job when I was in the 8th grade, I think, selling newspaper subscriptions door to door here in Florida, and did a lot of different jobs growing up. I started working at an early age. I always liked to have my own money, wanted to be able to have nice things and not always have to ask my parents for money. And so I always was kind of hustling things at an early age, whether it was trading garbage pail kids or selling newspaper subscriptions, waiting tables, bartending, a lot of different things at an early age. And I always had a bit of knowledge about real estate development, financial markets. It really comes from, my family's background and just being around my dad. He was very good at kind of giving us a lot of insight about what he did and how things worked. And he was in finance and real estate as well. And, grandfather was in real estate development and various other businesses. So just kind of picking up and always being open to listening and learning and be inquisitive and trying to understand about the world around us. And then as, things kind of, as I went down my path and I was always an athlete, did a lot of, always, my dad always made sure that we were playing a sport at all times. That was a requirement. We had to be playing a sport. We had certain requirements about our grades, and we had to be doing some type of athletic endeavor at all times. There was not a break allowed actually from sports. And I think that I talk a lot about, mental toughness, extra effort, MTXC. It's kind of like a little mantra I live by. And I actually picked that up in middle school at basketball camp. And so playing all these sports growing up, I didn't really live at the beach. I started water sports at an early age, swimming, was on the swim team, did water skiing, things like that. I was a big skateboarder coming from Central Florida and didn't really live at the beach. My grandma lived at the beach, and so occasionally we would get to the beach to then always had this really idea that I wanted to be a surfer, that I wanted to surf, even though I didn't even live at the beach until later. Actually, when I got to high school in 9th grade is when I lived anywhere near to the beach. And really didn't start surfing until about that time. But the whole goal in life after that, once I became a surfer and wanted to surf, the whole goal was, how do I surf more, and what can I do in life to allow me to surf more or be in the places where there was more surf. And eventually that path led me, to getting a degree in Spanish and Latin American studies, really focusing on, how to speak Spanish well, and understanding, business, as well as the overall processes in Latin America, cultures, and just chose that as the place that I wanted to initially go out and try to start a business. And it really was just chasing waves, and that was really about. But that focus, the focus on how do I surf more, and how do I get to enjoy the things that I really want to do, and how do I live a life that I want to live at a level that I'm happy with, which led me into entrepreneurship, led me into starting businesses, gave me the freedom that I wanted to be able to chase those dreams. But unlike probably a lot of people, my dreams were not to be a surfing and be feral. I didn't want to live in a tent. I wasn't looking to be living on nothing. I kind of had a certain lifestyle that I envisioned for myself and my family, and so that really required a lot of hard work. And realized that probably the easiest way to get there was to start my own business. But the story is really very long, and there's a lot of evolution that happened over the years. And there were times when I worked for other companies, and times when I worked for myself. Grew some companies, sold them. In certain times when I worked for myself, and other times worked for other companies, which I picked up a lot of knowledge, working for other companies along the way. But essentially, the desire to be an entrepreneur started out as, how do I surf more, and how do I live a lifestyle that I want to live? So that's basically where the drive initially came from. Also gotten married fairly young at 24 years old, having a child very young. My first child we had when I was 24. So that also gave me a great motivation, to try to, do more and to challenge myself, and to bring in a lifestyle for my family that I envisioned that they should have, and that I wanted them to have.
Yeah, that's all super inspiring. So as a big surfer, what are some lessons that you have learned from surfing that you can apply to, starting a business today, or, your entrepreneurship journey?
Well, I think that it doesn't matter if you're surfing or whatever it might be, but for me, it was surfing. It was extremely challenging. It's something that, back when I started surfing, it's not like today where now there's all these people that teach you how to surf. There's surf schools, there's foam top surfboards, everybody, it's maybe a little bit easier to go out and figure out how to do it. When I was growing up and wanting to surf, it was kind of, taboo, to kind of against, the establishment of surfing to, get lessons or try to do that. You just pretty much took a surfboard and you went out and you got your beat up a lot trying to figure it out, try to watch other people, try to learn, try not to be a kook, and figure it out. So, it was a determination of something I really wanted to do, and I really wanted to excel and be good at. And I didn't want to be a kook. I wanted to be really good at surfing. Just like when I do anything in my life, when I put my mind to it, I really want to be good at it. I'm pretty competitive. I have a competitive drive from being an athlete, and I don't like to lose. I don't like to do something that I don't do well. And so, but I'm not going to be a person that gives up. So I really want to, like surfing, like business, you have to have that mental toughness, and you have to continue to give extra effort and be good at something. And sometimes you're going to fail. And in that process that you learn through the failures, just like in business. In surfing, I had to fail a lot to be able to get to where I could ride down the wave, do a turn. Initially, just figuring out how to paddle out, duck dive, that was super challenging. Looking like a kook, and not, the whole time. So, but the longer that you persist and continue to try, learn from your failures, and just keep that the mental toughness that you're not going to quit, and continuing to give extra effort, every time you go out, to get better. And the same thing is true in business, anything in life. I mean, the more that you can just keep trying, keep persisting, continue to try to get better. And a lot of whether it's studying business and what other people are doing in business that are successful, looking at what they're doing, reading books about what they've done, listen to other successful people, listen and learn from their experiences. It was the same thing in surfing. At the time it was like, hey, watch every surf video we could. What are those guys who are professionals? What are they doing on the waves? Reading every surf magazine, really studying it. That's the same in business or anything else. If you just when you go find other people that are doing it the way you want to do it, that you look up to, that you admire, study them, and figure out what they've done to be successful. What are the challenges that they've had? What do they have to overcome? And learn from them. And then if you can find someone that you can talk to that's willing to give you information, it's just about being a really good listener and finding someone that hopefully can mentor you, whether that's in surfing or playing basketball or being in business. So I think that's a big part of it, is not only always trying to get better, learn from your failures, and look up to other people that you admire that are doing what you want to do and emulate them. Try to do what they do, and hopefully find someone that you can get some knowledge from and listen and learn.
Yeah, I think having that mentor is super important. So you mentioned that you had a kid very young, you got married very young. So as a father and as a business owner, how do you juggle all of that? And what advice would you have to other entrepreneurs on how to balance all of that?
To have life-work balance, that's definitely important. It's definitely very important to be present for those around you and your family that you love, and to give them time. And it wasn't always easy for me. I certainly wasn't always the best at having that balance. I'm a person that will work and have worked 80, 100 hours a week. For example, my first business in Costa Rica, I remember when I first moved to Costa Rica and I was getting started. I mean, we had a lot of upfront startup work, but we used to go surfing every day, no matter what. At the end of the day, we go watch the sunset at the beach, and we try to all come together as a community, and people would go out there and we'd surf and we'd watch the sunset. As the business progressed and I got more and more busy, instead of watching the sunset at the beach, the sun would usually set and I watched it from my window of my office and really didn't even think about it setting, because I was really busy working and really wanting to succeed and be successful. There have been times where I had, also worked for another company, running all of Latin America for a company out of New Zealand, and I traveled 5 and 6 days out of the week. And at one point I did kind of wake up and saw my older children were getting older before my eyes, and I really didn't have the time to really spend with them, or I hadn't spent the time with them. I missed out on a lot of their childhood. So, it's a hard thing to do. It's very hard to find that balance. But I think it's important to know that, sometimes you got to take a break. You got to take a break, and you got to spend time with the people that you care about, and you got to give them attention. I think more than anything, it's about being present around them when you're with them, and, finding opportunities to get one-on-one time with the people that you most care about, whether that's one-on-one time with your kids or one-on-one time with your spouse. And when you're with them, just really try to be present. For me, work had always come first in many cases, because I was doing it for my family and for them. But that's not, at some point you do have to, really find the time to spend with them. That's where surfing has also come in a lot with me and my children, and everybody in my family participates a little bit in surfing. So the beach has been a place where we always spend time together. My wife has been great at following me around, whether it was to Costa Rica or Nicaragua, or visiting me when I was studying in Ecuador, and just, willing to go where I want to go. And, we've learned how to be together and do something a little bit different than maybe your average family. of our willingness to kind of take risks, do think outside the box. And, I never have really taken, except maybe once in my entire work career, a real vacation. So, I've been on lots of vacations, I've been on lots of trips, but it has been very, very rare that I'd actually not respond to emails or phone calls for any given length of time, So even though I might have traveled a lot with my family, I oftentimes found myself, still working. So, I think in the very beginning, I was super motivated to build something. And so I can say that my life-work balance was not there, that I definitely, and that my family and my relationships with them definitely suffered in the beginning. But as you grow older and you figure things out, you kind of come to the realization that sometimes you got to take a little break and be around people. But when you're an entrepreneur and you're building a company, that's pretty difficult. It is. And I think everyone has to find out what works best for them. But as I've grown older, as the business has matured, I've learned how to delegate and to bring in people to help the business. It's definitely giving me more opportunity to spend with my family. But I think it's important to find things that you like to do with your family. And the people that you care about. For us, we're doers. We like to be out. We're very active. So, it's taking time to be outside and doing things together that we enjoy.
And speaking of business relationships kind of shifting now, how do you cherish and develop business relationships? I'm sure, speaking Spanish has been an advantage to you within your businesses, but if you can touch on that a little bit.
I think, building relationships and networking is everything. And I will say that a lot of my success early on and ongoing has been my ability to build relationships with people and then maintain those relationships. A lot of it has to do with just making friends. I've always been a person that was really outgoing and pretty easy to make friends with people, remembering just to reach out. Even if it has nothing to do with making money or selling something or a business deal, it's just staying in contact with those people in your network, making sure you reach out to them just to say hello, be a friend, and really focus on just building those lasting relationships with people. And typically business will come eventually, through your network, and you do not have to force it. You don't have to go after and constantly be trying to beat people up about selling. It's just about making networks. And it's about when that moment is right and there's an opportunity in front of you. And if you can connect the dots between that opportunity and the people in your network to put together deals, that's where I found the most success, is just building a big network and then always being open to potential opportunities. And when opportunities come my way, it's like, who do I have in my network who can help me be successful with this particular opportunity? That's always been important. But to be able to do that, you have to constantly maintain a network and you have to build a network and continue to just go out there and make a lot of friends. Surround yourself by people that are doing things like that you're doing, care about the things that you care about, have resources that you can share your resources with, and they can share their resources with you. But definitely, speaking Spanish was a great opportunity for me to build a network in Latin America. Walking into a room as a blue-eyed, blonde-haired surfer guy, and to be able to start speaking Spanish, whether it was in a very just regular setting or in a business environment, in front of C-level executives, or just making friends at the beach. You never know who you come in contact with. Somebody that you just might meet randomly can end up being a great contact down the road. So definitely having the openness and ability to speak in two languages and to understand other cultures, and having that openness of a global environment, and the fact that the world is open to us. So those have definitely helped. I've been able to take advantage of various opportunities, leveraging that network in Latin America and the network that I built across the United States and other places around the world.
How have you seen starting a business change since the beginning of your journey to now? Because obviously we live in such a digital world now. Have you, seen a change since from when you started a business?
Oh, absolutely. I can tell you the first business I had, which was a real estate company in Costa Rica, for us to do marketing then, we didn't have a high-speed internet connection. In fact, we had to use a web ramp to like put together 2 dial-up connections to try to get a 256K connection. There weren't email blast platforms. We were using spreadsheets and putting together a list of contacts and then doing email blasts by blind carbon copying the whole database. Picking up the phone and calling people. No social media, that didn't exist. It was really just about making contacts, and in most cases, it was about picking up the phone and calling someone and talk to them, or meet with them and make a relationship. So, the relationships were deeper. They were, different. It was certainly a lot more difficult to get your message out in, a mainstream way. Whereas today, with digital media, social media, all of the different things that we have available to us for digital marketing, getting your message out quickly and in a very large, fashion to a huge audience is, can be a lot easier in some way, shape, or form. But in general, business is the same. You come in with a product or service. You identify who the audience is for that product or service. You go out to try to contact the people in that audience that hopefully have interest in your product or service. You try to deliver a message, that you've a well thought out message about, how you're going to convert these prospects into a sale, and build relationships, and do it that way. I think, also building a network of people that you can use for referrals. That's always been the bulk of our business, and it continues to work today. I think that there are various ways that the digital marketing and today's world of social media has made a lot more competition for many different businesses and different types of businesses. So you have to even be more on your game today than ever before, because although it's seemingly easy to get started into something, whether it's drop shipping or flipping shoes or whatever the new fad is, but there's a ton of competition. The easier it is to get into a particular thing, the more likely there is to be a whole bunch of competition. So we have been very successful at finding niches in businesses where we always want to have a competitive edge, a competitive advantage, essentially. If we're going to start something, do something, we want to make sure that we do have a competitive advantage, and that there are certain barriers of entry into the business that makes it harder to create competition. But I can say that with the technology today that we have, CRMs like HubSpot, automation that exist, and like the HubSpot platform, and other applications that are out there that help to automate, sales and marketing processes. It's far easier today than it used to be. It's different, but I think in many cases, the ability to ramp up quickly, to get your message out there, to be cutting edge, is definitely easier in many aspects. But there again, competition, it's created a lot more easily. So that just creates another set of issues that you have to deal with.
Well, I think that's all the questions we have today. Thank you for joining us, Chip, and thank you to all of our listeners for tuning into The Swell. We hope to see you in the next episode.
Your social media strategy is essential for the success of your business. These platforms are the stage where your target audience is waiting to hear from you. It's where you can advertise, enhance credibility, establish your brand as an industry leader, and build a loyal following. At McGraw, we take great pride in our organic social and paid media or paid advertising strategies. With over 13 years experience, we use that knowledge to collect, analyze, and implement your campaigns to help your business grow. With over $1 million in yearly ad spend management, it's no wonder why companies turn to us to accelerate their growth. We provide social media management services for a variety of platforms like Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, and many more to create and maintain quality content, establish quality relationships with customers, advertise to target audiences, and support a positive brand image. Our content is thoughtfully executed and enriched with professional graphic design to help you ultimately build your brand and convert customers. By combining your paid social campaigns and organic social media strategies, you'll be able to maximize your online presence. These two powerful marketing tools depend on each other for maximum effectiveness and will do wonders when used in combination. Between brainstorming, creation, implementation, and regular maintenance, it's obvious that lots of time and effort go into a successful organic and paid social media campaign. Instead of taking time out of your valuable workday, why not let the experts at McGraw help in meeting your business growth goals? Contact us at 888-302-6729 or our website, www.mcgrawnow.com.
I think it's one, working with all these different departments, setting up what their KPIs are if they're not already established. In most cases they would be, and then coming up with service level agreements between the departments to making sure that everyone's KPIs and metrics are aligned for the greater good, for the bigger goal, which ultimately is going to lead to revenue for the company.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of The Swell. I'm your host, Maya Mahoney, the social media manager here at McGraw. And today we are joined again by CEO and founder of McGraw, Chip McGraw. So, Chip, we're happy you're here to join us for another episode.
Well, thanks, Maya.
So on this episode today, we're going to be talking about revenue operations and why it's important to implement into your business. So I guess we'll just jump right into it. So can you explain to those watching what revenue operations is and why it's important?
And basically, revenue operations has to do with all the parts of your business that are producing revenue, which is essentially marketing, sales, and then the support of after sales, and then how you're going to continuously market to people once you have them as clients. So it's all those operations that traditionally, in many cases, have been quite siloed. You know, the silo of marketing, the silo of sales, the silo of customer service. So revenue operations talks about how we tie all those things together, how those different departments, they can't just function as, you know, a silo, as a department among themselves, because, you know, marketing's role is to produce leads for the salespeople. The salespeople's role is to close those leads, and then the support or customer service or after sales department is there to continue to delight those customers and to continue to get more revenue out of them. So I think we have to look at a holistic approach across all three of those sectors, making sure that they are working together and they understand, those different departments understand what those other departments do and how that translates across the entire business of generating revenue.
Yeah, and the selling formula has changed throughout the years. So when was the first time you heard the term revenue operations, and is this a new concept?
I think, you know, as a term, revenue operations is a fairly new concept. I think in theory, it's always existed. But I think the idea of, you know, tracking back sales and tying it directly into marketing and marketing directly into sales, having service level agreements between departments and making sure that they are working together in unison, like the different parts of an orchestra or the different parts of a band, where, you know, if just the flutes played their part without understanding, you know, when the string instruments we're supposed to play. If you're, vice versa. I mean, these things have to coincide with each other, and the different parts of the organization have to play together in unison for it all to work. And you can't just be like, oh, well, my department did this and our job is done, and our department did that and our job is done. I think you have to look at it, across the organization. So, I mean, to answer your question, I think this is something that has existed for a long time. I think smart business people have been doing it for quite some time. I know most CEOs, founders, other C-level executives that are in charge of generating revenue for their business have certainly wanted this to take place. I think the neat thing that we have today is that we have a tool in place, HubSpot, that allows us to not only set up revenue operations or set up all three of these parts of the business under one piece of software. It gives us the ability to track that, create reporting. This is a new tool that's enabling us to track and to better implement revenue operations.
Yeah, and so as a HubSpot Gold Solutions partner, you kind of talked about how HubSpot has revenue operations kind of implemented into that. So are there certain hubs or tools within HubSpot that you could touch on specifically that, have this revenue operations strategy kind of built into it?
So, I mean, the strategy is you have to create the strategy yourself. Obviously, it works for your own organization. I'm talking about the KPIs that you put in place, the agreements between departments. What are the main important factors of your business? HubSpot itself as a piece of software is not going to tell you what those metrics should be, right? You as an organization have to create those metrics. But you can create those metrics, put those metrics into the software, back that up with reporting that'll give your C-level or your managers an easy look into the business to make sure that your department is hitting their goals, as well as seeing how you're tracking against the service level agreements you've made with other departments of the business. I think from a piece of software that helps you manage revenue operations, HubSpot recently released the Operations Hub that kind of helps you tie it all together. You've got the Marketing Hub, which is marketing automation and lead generation, inbound marketing specifically is what that helps out with most. Then you've got your Sales Hub that helps you manage your sales pipeline, your deal pipeline, and ties in reporting back to where those leads came from your Marketing Hub. Tracking different lead sources, lead costs, and conversion rates and metrics. Then you've got your Service Hub that helps you track what's going on in your service department, customer service or after sales, and how that relates both to your marketing and your Sales Hub. Giving you that ability and insight to automate a lot of that retargeting, follow-up, and ongoing sales efforts that are part of the after sales and service departments. Then the Operation Hub helps you tie all that in, and it's really where you can really manage all of your revenue operations.
So according to Gartner Incorporated, by 2025, 75% of the highest growth companies in the world will deploy RevOps model. So we kind of already talked about how HubSpot is a tool that, helps that with revenue operations, but can you outline some of the people or processes that are needed to successfully implement RevOps into your organization?
Well, a lot of people are now choosing to hire what's called a Chief Revenue Officer. And that could be, it's kind of across, many of these C-level jobs have begun to cross over. And that's why we also have something called a CXO today. So, Chief Revenue Officer, CXO, all your C-level people and department heads and managers are going to have to play a role in revenue operations. They already do it today. It's just about tying them all together and having the different departments be accountable across the departments as opposed to being so siloed. So, many people in today's environment are hiring people like Chief Revenue Officers to help to run the revenue operations. Could even be a CMO, a Chief Marketing Officer, along with a Director of Sales, Chief Operations Officers as well play a role in this. So I think it's working with all these different departments, setting up what their KPIs are if they're not already established. In most cases they would be, and then coming up with service level agreements between the departments to making sure that everyone's KPIs and metrics are aligned for the greater good, for the bigger goal, which ultimately is going to lead to revenue for the company, right? As opposed to, oh, marketing just did our job, we generate our leads, sales, it's up to you to close them. Well, what about the quality of the leads? Okay, and are we meeting the conversion rates? And if we're not meeting the conversion rates of sales, is it because our salespeople need some additional training? Or is it because the types of leads that we are generating are not the right lead, or they're not good quality, or there's something there, something off, or is it a combination of the two, and do we need retraining and things need to happen in both of those parts of the business? You know, maybe it's, okay, we've got this great lead generation tool going on, we're generating lots of leads, we're getting our sales metrics, we're meeting our sales, but then ongoing, our recurring revenue is broken because perhaps the people in our service department, our after sales department, need retraining, or maybe when we make the sale, we're not setting it up appropriately to be managed with that after sales department or service department. So it's basically, to answer your question, some people would use a chief revenue officer to basically oversee all these processes. In other businesses, it might be a chief operating officer. It really depends on the business itself.
Okay. And so what do you think that are some of the biggest challenges that companies are facing when it comes to implementing revenue operations into their business? I know you said a way that they can combat that is by, hiring different people, but what are some other ways or advice you would give to these companies struggling?
Well, anytime you bring in either new technology or new processes to a business, you're always going to have pushback because no one likes change, right? And inevitably, there might be some additional work that has to be done by team members, and everyone loves to just go to work and get their work done and be the same every day, and it's just Groundhog Day, and we all make a lot of money and go home, and have a good time on the weekend. However, when you're implementing new strategies and new systems in your business, you need to have the appropriate people leading that implementation, as well as assisting in that implementation. And one of the benefits of what we provide from McGraw is we can be that third party, that outsourced arm that not only helps you to implement this across your business, but do a lot of the labor that might be there and take that off the plate of those people that really it's a roadblock. So if you can take away that roadblock from getting this implemented by using a third party like ourselves as a HubSpot solutions partner, we'll come in and help to implement this process across your business, removing some of that those roadblocks, removing the pushback from some of your team members, and just making a smooth transition. So I think that is always going to be the hardest part of implementing any new software or process into a business, is just having the right implementer to really take it on and lead the charge. And if you have someone in your own business that can do that, great. If you don't, that's what we're here for. That's what we provide.
And obviously a strategy is only as good as its execution. So, and I probably already know the answer to this, but do you think that there is a future with revenue operations?
Oh, I think it is the future. There is no other way. If you want to succeed in today's market, with the cost of media being so expensive, with everything moving to digital, very little traditional marketing functioning in today's society, you have to have the right systems in place to make sure that you're squeezing every dollar out of your marketing, that you're increasing conversions every year, year over year. Whether you're a private company or a publicly traded company, everybody's looking for growth. And you have to have a good system in place to measure your sales, your marketing, and your service departments. And it needs to be in a clear, easy place where data is accurate and easily available to those who are the decision makers and the stakeholders, so they can help make the right decisions for the business.
And I think that's about all the questions I had today. Is there anything else you want to touch on in regards to revenue operations?
Yeah, I just think it's the wave of the future. It's the only way that you're going to be able to have a strategic advantage in such a competitive market as we have today. Almost every sector of the economy is extremely competitive. And, in order to be successful, you got to have a leg up in your competition. And basically having your business run smoothly, inside and out, using revenue operations is a great way to have a strategic advantage and a leg up over the competition.
Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing your insight today on revenue operations and for joining us on another episode. So be on the lookout for new episodes of The Swell coming very soon.
All
Bye.
right, thank you. Bye-bye.
There's no better time to start selling products online, but you need the right solution in place for it to be successful. McGraw has worked with countless brands, helping them build a customized e-commerce experience and increase your that delivers exceptional value and strong return on investment. At McGraw, we specialize in lead generation, customer acquisition, and customer retention. That's how our e-commerce solutions will give you an edge over our competitors. We truly understand how crucial it is to implement effective conversion rate optimization strategies, and we use this knowledge to maximize results and minimize spending. In order to satisfy the enhanced needs of your business and desired target market, we'll provide a unique marketing strategy along with an innovative multi-channel experience. We also understand that today's ideal customer will do business over a multitude of different channels. Our e-commerce solutions will ensure that your shopping experience is seamless on any device or platform to optimize your brand awareness. McGraw's dynamic strategies will create a unique and appealing user experience that keep your customers returning to your website time and time again. Contact us now at 888-941-9269 or visit our website www.mcgrawnow.com.